Ladies and gentlemen, imagine, if you will, a woman walking alone with no money. The mere thought brings with it a flood of imagery, vulnerability, desperation, and perhaps even fear. But let's look deeper beyond the surface of this stark reality and see it as a narrative of human potential. In life, we are often thrown into situations where the odds seem insurmountable. And yet, adversity has a way of revealing the strength we didn't know we had. Walking alone without money is not just a circumstance, it's a symbol of resilience. It forces a choice to succumb to despair or to forge a path forward. Adversity is a universal experience. It doesn't discriminate between age, gender, or social status. It arrives unbidden, often in the form of loss, hardship, or struggle, and tests the very fabric of who we are. But within adversity lies an incredible paradox. It is precisely in our moments of greatest difficulty that we find the potential for the greatest growth. Strength, as we often discover, is not something handed to us, it is forged in the fires of adversity. Consider the image of a woman walking alone with no money. At first glance, this scenario might evoke pity, fear, or even despair. It is an image of vulnerability. Yet if we look more closely, we can see something else, an opportunity for transformation. Adversity strips away the superficial layers of comfort and distraction. It forces a confrontation with reality, and in doing so, it reveals untapped reserves of resilience, courage, and determination. Strength that emerges through adversity is not an abstract concept. It is deeply practical and grounded in experience. It begins with the necessity of survival. When resources are scarce and the road ahead is uncertain, every decision becomes significant. The woman walking alone must plan each step with care, make use of the limited tools at her disposal, and rely on her wits and instincts. This is not just about enduring hardship, it is about adapting to it, finding creative solutions to seemingly impossible problems, and learning to navigate a world that feels indifferent to her plight. One of the most profound lessons of adversity is the realization that we are capable of far more than we believe. Comfort can lull us into a false sense of our limitations. When life is easy, we rarely test our boundaries. But adversity forces us out of our comfort zones. It demands action, often in ways we have never considered before. The woman without money, walking an uncertain path, will undoubtedly encounter moments where she feels overwhelmed or defeated. Yet, in each of those moments, she will also have the chance to dig deeper, to push past the limits of what she thought she could endure, and to discover a strength that was always there but remained dormant. Adversity also teaches us about the value of persistence. Strength is not something that appears all at once. It is built incrementally through small, deliberate actions taken in the face of difficulty. Each step the woman takes, each decision she makes becomes a testament to her willpower. Over time, these small acts of courage accumulate, transforming her from someone who is merely surviving into someone who is actively shaping her destiny. Another important aspect of strength through adversity is the development of self-reliance. In times of difficulty, we often realize that the support systems we once relied upon are not always available. This can be a terrifying realization, but it is also a liberating one. When there is no one to lean on, we are forced to lean on ourselves. The woman walking alone must rely on her own judgment, resourcefulness, and inner resolve. In doing so, she gains a sense of autonomy and confidence that cannot be taken away, no matter what challenges she faces in the future. Adversity doesn't just build individual strength, it also reshapes our relationships with others. It fosters empathy and a deeper understanding of the struggles that all people face. The woman's journey, though deeply personal, is not unique. Her hardships mirror those experienced by countless others. As she walks her path, she may encounter kindness from strangers, form unexpected connections, or inspire others through her resilience. These moments remind us that even in our darkest hours, we are not alone in our struggles. Strength through adversity also challenges us to reevaluate our values and priorities. When faced with hardship, the superficial concerns of daily life often fall away. What remains are the things that truly matter: survival, purpose, and connection. For the woman walking alone, this might mean finding joy in small victories, deriving meaning from her journey, or discovering a renewed sense of faith in herself and the world around her. Adversity clarifies what is essential, and in doing so, it allows us to live with greater intention and authenticity. Importantly, strength that emerges through adversity is not just physical or mental, it is also emotional and spiritual. The woman walking alone must grapple with feelings of fear, loneliness, and uncertainty. But in facing these emotions head on, she learns to manage them, to find peace amidst chaos, and to cultivate a sense of hope even in the bleakest circumstances. This emotional resilience becomes a cornerstone of her strength, enabling her to face future challenges with greater confidence and composure. Adversity, in its essence, is a crucible, a process of purification and transformation. The woman walking alone with no money may start her journey feeling broken, overwhelmed, or defeated. But as she continues to move forward, she will find that each challenge she overcomes leaves her stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. In this way, adversity becomes not just a test, but a teacher, offering lessons that can only be learned through experience. To walk alone without money is to step into the unknown. It is to confront the full weight of life's uncertainties and to emerge step by step as a person who is stronger, more capable, and more attuned to the deeper truths of existence. The journey is not easy, but it is profoundly meaningful. Through adversity, we discover who we truly are. In life, we are often confronted with situations that are unfair, painful, or deeply challenging. It is natural to feel the urge to point fingers, to assign blame to external forces, be they individuals, institutions, or even the abstract workings of fate. While there is undeniable validity in acknowledging injustice, focusing exclusively on blame can be a trap. It may provide temporary relief or justification, but it leaves us powerless. True empowerment comes not from identifying who or what is at fault, but from assuming responsibility for what we can control. Responsibility is the cornerstone of growth, agency, and ultimately meaning in life. When we take responsibility, we acknowledge our role in shaping our circumstances and reactions. This does not mean we deny the reality of external influences. Many people face profound hardships due to systemic issues, accidents of birth, or the actions of others. But to dwell solely on those factors is to relinquish the power to act. Responsibility, on the other hand, is an act of courage. It is a declaration that regardless of the cards we have been dealt, we will play them to the best of our ability. Imagine a woman walking alone with no money. The world around her is indifferent to her plight, and the causes of her situation may be varied and complex. She could focus entirely on assigning blame to the family who didn't support her, the economy that failed her, or the circumstances that conspired against her. And yet none of that changes the reality of her journey. Blame, while perhaps justified, does not move her forward. Responsibility does. Responsibility begins with a simple but profound question: what can I do next? Responsibility shifts the focus from external factors to internal ones. It is the process of reclaiming agency in a world that often feels uncontrollable. The woman walking alone may not have chosen her circumstances, but she can choose her next step. That choice is an act of responsibility. It acknowledges the harshness of reality while refusing to be defined by it. It is through this mindset that we begin to see pathways where there seem to be none. Blame, in contrast, often breeds stagnation. When we fixate on what others have done to us or how unfair life is, we risk becoming trapped in a cycle of resentment and inaction. This is not to say that anger or frustration is invalid. These are human responses to hardship. But if they dominate our perspective, they can rob us of the energy and clarity needed to take meaningful action. Responsibility does not deny the existence of wrongs, it simply refuses to let those wrongs dictate our future. One of the profound truths about responsibility is that it creates a sense of empowerment even in the direst circumstances. The woman walking alone may start her journey feeling powerless, abandoned, or defeated. But with each small act of responsibility, choosing a direction, seeking resources, or simply persevering, she begins to reclaim her sense of agency. These acts may seem insignificant in the moment, but they accumulate over time, building not just a path forward, but a foundation of self-reliance and strength. Responsibility also has a ripple effect. When we take ownership of our actions and decisions, we inspire others to do the same. The woman walking alone may encounter people along her journey who witness her resolve and are moved by it. Her willingness to take responsibility in the face of adversity becomes a beacon of hope, reminding others that they too have the power to shape their lives. In this way, responsibility is not just a personal virtue, it is a social one. It creates a culture of accountability, resilience, and mutual support. Taking responsibility is not about perfection or the absence of failure. In fact, it often requires embracing failure as part of the process. The woman walking alone will undoubtedly make mistakes along the way, choosing a wrong path, trusting the wrong person, or misjudging a situation. But responsibility allows her to learn from those mistakes rather than being paralyzed by them. Blame, by contrast, seeks to externalize failure, making it harder to grow and adapt. Responsibility, on the other hand, transforms failure into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Another critical aspect of responsibility is its relationship to meaning. Life is inherently challenging, and suffering is an unavoidable part of the human experience. Blame seeks to explain suffering by pointing to external causes, but responsibility seeks to transcend it by creating meaning. For the woman walking alone, responsibility might mean finding purpose in her journey, whether through acts of kindness, moments of self-discovery, or simply the resolve to keep moving forward. This sense of purpose transforms her struggle from a mere hardship into a story of resilience and triumph. Responsibility is not always easy to accept. It requires humility, self-reflection, and the willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and our circumstances. But it is precisely this difficulty that makes it so powerful. Responsibility is an act of defiance against the chaos and unfairness of life. It is a refusal to be a victim and a commitment to be an active participant in one's own story. Ultimately, responsibility is the antidote to despair. It reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, we have the capacity to act, to choose, and to create. It is not a denial of the challenges we face, but an affirmation of our ability to overcome them. Through responsibility, we reclaim our humanity, our dignity, and our power. Life exists as a delicate balance between order and chaos. Order is the realm of the known, the predictable, and the structured. It is the life we understand, our routines, habits, and the rules by which we operate. Chaos, on the other hand, is the realm of the unknown, the unpredictable, and the uncertain. It is the wild, untamed aspect of life that disrupts our plans and challenges our assumptions. These two forces are in constant interplay, and it is within this dynamic tension that the human journey unfolds. When we think about a woman walking alone with no money, we see a vivid representation of chaos. Her path is uncertain, fraught with risks, and devoid of the comfort and stability that order provides. Yet, even within this apparent chaos, there is an opportunity to establish a new sense of order, to navigate the unknown and create meaning in the midst of uncertainty. This journey encapsulates the eternal struggle between order and chaos, a struggle that defines not just individual lives, but the very essence of human existence. Order is essential. It provides the structure that allows us to function in the world. It is the familiar patterns we rely on to make sense of our environment, the frameworks that give us stability and security. In a state of order, we feel safe, we know what to expect, and we can focus on growth, creativity, and connection. However, too much order can be stifling. A life dominated entirely by order leaves no room for exploration, innovation, or personal transformation. It is a life that may be safe, but lacks the vitality that comes from engaging with the unknown. Chaos, in contrast, is inherently destabilizing. It disrupts our routines, challenges our beliefs, and forces us to confront our vulnerabilities. Chaos is frightening because it is unpredictable. It represents everything we cannot control, the vast and infinite possibilities that lie outside our understanding. Yet chaos is also the source of creativity, growth, and transformation. Without chaos, there can be no change, no progress, and no opportunity to become more than we are. The journey into chaos is a recurring theme in myths, stories, and human experience. It is the hero's journey, the archetype of stepping into the unknown to confront challenges and emerge transformed. The woman walking alone with no money embodies this archetype. Her journey begins in chaos, a state of profound uncertainty, where the familiar structures of her life have crumbled. She does not know where her next meal will come from, where she will find shelter, or what dangers lie ahead. Yet this chaos is not just a source of fear, it is also an invitation to grow, to adapt, and to discover new strengths. Navigating chaos requires courage. It demands a willingness to step beyond the boundaries of what is known and to face the risks and uncertainties that lie beyond. For the woman on her journey, this might mean venturing into unfamiliar places, relying on her resourcefulness, and learning to trust her instincts. It is in these moments that she begins to create order within chaos. Each decision she makes, each problem she solves, becomes a small act of reclamation, a way of imposing structure on the unpredictable. Order and chaos are not static states, they are dynamic processes. Life is not about choosing one over the other, but about finding balance between the two. Too much chaos can overwhelm us, leading to anxiety, confusion, and despair. Too much order can stagnate us, leaving us rigid, complacent, and resistant to change. The key is to navigate the boundary between order and chaos to find the point where stability meets possibility. This is where growth occurs. For the woman walking alone, the journey is not about eliminating chaos, but about learning to coexist with it. She cannot control the external circumstances of her life, but she can control how she responds to them. By embracing the challenges of her journey, she begins to create a sense of order, not by imposing rigid rules, but by developing a flexible, adaptive approach to life. She learns to see chaos not as an enemy, but as a teacher, a force that reveals her strengths and pushes her to grow. This interplay between order and chaos mirrors the human psyche. Within each of us, there is a desire for stability and a longing for adventure. We seek the comfort of the familiar, but we are also drawn to the excitement of the unknown. The journey of life is about balancing these opposing forces, learning to navigate the chaos without losing the foundation of order that keeps us grounded. Chaos also has a way of clarifying what truly matters. In the absence of material security or external stability, the woman walking alone is forced to focus on the essentials: her survival, her values, and her purpose. Chaos strips away the distractions of daily life and reveals the core truths that define us. It is a painful process, but it is also a deeply meaningful one. Ultimately, the journey between order and chaos is a microcosm of the human condition. We are constantly moving between these two states, striving to create order in our lives while embracing the chaos that brings growth and transformation. Each challenge we face is an opportunity to learn, to adapt, and to become more than we were before. Through this process, we discover not just the strength to endure, but the wisdom to thrive. Human beings are wired to seek comfort. We gravitate toward what is familiar, safe, and predictable. And for good reason. Comfort provides a sense of security and stability, the foundation upon which we build our lives. However, while comfort is valuable, it is not sufficient. A life built solely around comfort often lacks depth, purpose, and fulfillment. True richness in life comes not from ease, but from meaning, and meaning often arises from struggle, responsibility, and the pursuit of something greater than ourselves. Consider the image of a woman walking alone with no money. At first glance, her journey may appear as a life stripped of comfort, a situation defined by hardship and lack. Yet, in such circumstances, the quest for meaning becomes not just important but essential. Without material security or external support, she must rely on something deeper: a sense of purpose, a guiding principle, or an inner conviction that her journey matters. It is meaning, not comfort, that sustains her and gives her the strength to keep moving forward. Comfort, while desirable, can be deceptive. It lulls us into complacency, encouraging us to avoid challenges and responsibilities. When we prioritize comfort above all else, we often sacrifice growth and fulfillment. A life of uninterrupted comfort may be pleasant, but it is unlikely to be meaningful. Meaning requires effort, sacrifice, and a willingness to face discomfort. It demands that we step outside of our comfort zones, confront our fears, and engage with the world in a way that is often challenging but profoundly rewarding. The pursuit of meaning often involves taking on responsibility. Responsibility can be uncomfortable. It requires effort, discipline, and often a degree of personal sacrifice. Yet, it is through responsibility that we find purpose. The woman walking alone with no money might choose to take responsibility for her situation, not in the sense of blaming herself, but in the sense of taking ownership of her actions and decisions. This responsibility gives her a sense of agency, a belief that she can influence her circumstances no matter how difficult they may be. Responsibility is inherently tied to meaning because it connects us to something larger than ourselves. When we take responsibility, we acknowledge that our actions matter not just for ourselves but for others. This connection to a greater whole is a key source of meaning. For the woman on her journey, this might mean finding ways to help others, even in her challenging circumstances, or drawing strength from the belief that her perseverance will inspire others who face similar struggles. The relationship between meaning and comfort is also evident in the concept of sacrifice. Sacrifice involves giving up something of value, often comfort or security, in pursuit of a higher goal. This principle is deeply ingrained in human culture, from ancient myths to modern stories of heroism. The woman walking alone is making sacrifices every day, sacrifices of comfort, convenience, and ease. But through these sacrifices, she is forging a path towards something more significant. Her sacrifices are not meaningless, they are the price of a life imbued with purpose. Meaning often emerges most clearly in times of adversity. When life is easy, we rarely stop to question its purpose, but when we face challenges, we are forced to confront deeper questions about who we are, what we value, and why we persevere. The absence of comfort sharpens our focus, stripping away superficial concerns and bringing our core values into sharp relief. For the woman on her journey, each step taken despite her hardships becomes a testament to her strength and determination, a declaration that her life has meaning beyond her immediate circumstances. The pursuit of meaning also involves the acceptance of suffering. Suffering is an inevitable part of life, but it need not be meaningless. When we endure hardship in pursuit of a greater purpose, our suffering becomes a source of strength rather than despair. The woman walking alone might find that her struggles teach her resilience, deepen her understanding of herself, and connect her to the struggles of others. In this way, meaning transforms suffering from a burden into a catalyst for growth. Another key aspect of meaning is its transformative power. Comfort, by its nature, tends to preserve the status quo. It keeps us where we are, safe but unchanging. Meaning, however, drives transformation. It pushes us to grow, to evolve, and to become more than we were. For the woman walking alone, her journey is not just a physical one, but a process of personal transformation. Each challenge she faces, each obstacle she overcomes, becomes a step toward a stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled self. Importantly, meaning does not exclude comfort entirely. Comfort has its place. It provides rest, recovery, and a foundation from which we can pursue greater things. But comfort must be balanced with meaning. When we prioritize meaning, we can endure discomfort, knowing that it serves a higher purpose. For the woman on her journey, moments of rest and relief are valuable not as ends in themselves, but as supports for her ongoing pursuit of meaning. Ultimately, meaning gives life a sense of direction. Comfort may provide temporary satisfaction, but it is meaning that gives us the strength to endure hardship, the courage to face uncertainty, and the inspiration to strive for something greater. The woman walking alone with no money is not defined by her lack of comfort, but by her pursuit of meaning. Through her journey, she demonstrates that it is meaning, not comfort, that sustains us, empowers us, and makes life worth living. In a world that often celebrates monumental achievements, it is easy to overlook the power of small, seemingly insignificant actions. We are conditioned to value large leaps and instant results, to believe that change requires dramatic shifts and grand gestures. But the truth is that profound transformation often begins with the smallest steps, incremental changes that, over time, accumulate to create significant impact. In the journey of life, small steps are the building blocks of grand change, and it is through persistence and consistency that we begin to see the transformation we seek. Consider a woman walking alone with no money. At first glance, her situation may appear overwhelming, and the road ahead might seem impossibly difficult. It would be easy to despair, to see the task as insurmountable, and to focus on the vastness of the gap between where she is and where she wants to be. Yet, the key to her success lies not in focusing on the enormity of the challenge, but in taking small, purposeful steps. Each step, no matter how small, moves her closer to her destination, and in time, those steps will accumulate into the change she seeks. The power of small steps lies in their ability to build momentum. When we make a small change, it can seem insignificant at first. Perhaps it's a shift in mindset, a new habit, or a minor decision. But over time, these small actions compound, creating momentum that drives us forward. The woman walking alone may start with something as simple as deciding to keep moving, even when every step feels heavy. Each small victory, the decision to stay on her path, despite fear, the act of finding a place to rest, or the courage to ask for help, builds her confidence and strengthens her resolve. This process is similar to how a single drop of water over the course of years can carve out a path through solid rock. The drop by itself seems powerless, but its persistence, repetition, and consistency eventually lead to profound change. In the same way, the small steps we take in life may seem trivial in the moment, but they are laying the groundwork for transformation. Change does not occur overnight, but through the steady accumulation of actions and decisions that are aligned with our goals and values. Small steps also have the power to shift our mindset. Often, when faced with a significant challenge, we become paralyzed by the enormity of the task at hand. We look at the end goal and feel overwhelmed, convinced that we are too far from the finish line to make any meaningful progress. But by focusing on small, manageable actions, we shift our attention away from the vastness of the challenge and focus on the next immediate step. The woman walking alone may not be able to control the entirety of her situation, but she can control the next step she takes. This shift in focus from the overwhelming to the achievable creates a sense of empowerment and reduces feelings of helplessness. Moreover, small steps allow us to build resilience. Every time we take a step, even when it feels difficult or uncertain, we strengthen our ability to persevere. The woman walking alone may face moments of doubt, fear, or exhaustion, but each time she takes a step forward, she builds her resilience. It is through the accumulation of these steps that she begins to discover her inner strength, the ability to continue moving forward despite the obstacles in her way. This process of building resilience is gradual, but over time, it creates a deep well of strength from which we can draw in moments of hardship. Small steps also allow us to stay adaptable. In the face of a grand challenge, it is easy to become rigid in our thinking, convinced that there is only one way to succeed. However, small steps allow us to be flexible, to adjust our approach, and to experiment with different solutions. The woman walking alone may encounter unforeseen obstacles along the way, an unexpected storm, an impassable road, or an opportunity she had not anticipated. If she were focused solely on the grand vision of her journey, these obstacles might overwhelm her. But because she is focused on small, manageable actions, she can adapt to the situation, reassess her path, and continue moving forward. This flexibility is crucial for long-term success and growth. One of the key benefits of small steps is that they allow us to learn as we go. Change is rarely a linear process, and there are bound to be setbacks along the way. When we approach our goals with small incremental steps, we give ourselves the opportunity to course correct as needed. Each step provides feedback, whether it's a positive reinforcement or a lesson from failure that helps us refine our approach. The woman walking alone will undoubtedly face moments of frustration or missteps, but these are not signs of failure. Rather, they are opportunities to learn, grow, and adjust her strategy. Over time, these lessons will accumulate, enabling her to navigate her journey with greater wisdom and skill. The power of small steps also lies in their ability to create a sense of progress. When we embark on a grand journey, it can be difficult to see progress at first. The distance between where we are and where we want to be can feel vast and discouraging. But by focusing on small steps, we can celebrate each bit of progress we make. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory in itself. For the woman walking alone, this might mean taking pride in finding a safe place to rest, securing her next meal, or simply maintaining her resolve in the face of adversity. These small successes provide the motivation to continue building momentum that propels her toward the larger goal. Lastly, small steps foster a sense of consistency. Change is not about sudden bursts of effort, it is about sustained, consistent action. The woman walking alone may not have the luxury of making sweeping changes, but she has the power to keep moving step by step. This consistency is what ultimately leads to grand change. Over time, the accumulation of small, deliberate actions builds a new reality, a reality that would not have been possible without the steady, persistent effort put forth in those small moments. In life, we often look for quick fixes and dramatic solutions, but the reality is that meaningful change comes from the accumulation of small steps. The woman walking alone, despite the overwhelming nature of her situation, moves forward not through grand gestures, but through the simple, consistent act of putting one foot in front of the other. Over time, those steps will lead her to a new place, one shaped by her perseverance, resilience, and unwavering commitment to progress. Small steps, in their simplicity, create the grand change we seek. In conclusion, the journey of life is shaped not by the monumental leaps we take, but by the small, consistent steps we make along the way. Whether we are seeking meaning, facing chaos, embracing responsibility, or striving for change, it is these small actions, often imperceptible in the moment, that accumulate to create profound transformation. True strength is found not in avoiding discomfort, but in embracing it and using it as a catalyst for growth. Each step, no matter how small, moves us closer to our goals, builds resilience, and shapes our character. It is through these incremental actions that we discover our inner strength, develop purpose, and ultimately find meaning in our lives. Life's grandest changes often begin with a single purposeful step, one that propels us toward a future we can create, no matter how challenging the path may seem.